Next, I'm going to have you evaluate a number of statements that I have written out based off of what I've consumed about the information you've put out into the world about Civium. Right? I've sort of gone through your videos multiple times and I've evaluated and tried to understand or get an idea of where your mind is regarding these things. And so when I say these, I want you to react with a score between 0 and 100, with 50 meaning you're completely uncertain about that claim, 100 meaning that is absolutely true, and 0 meaning it is absolutely false. All of these statements are assumed to be neutral, not good or bad, that can kind of make people change how they're evaluating these. So if you feel something is true, but you would like to communicate it that it's like a negative thing or a positive thing, you can also communicate on a scale of -1 to 1. -1 being this is just very a bad thing, even though it might be true. 1 being it's a great thing, but that's optional. And it is a felt, experience. And, if you have a process that you go through with like a Bayes theorem, you can also use that. But it's really just a practice of engaging and quantifying your certainty. Okay. The first claim is that Civium is designed to foster meaningful, mutually advantageous relationships.
The word advantageous is ambiguous to me.
Okay. So this is a point where I want to clarify. If the language is ambiguous, let that guide your numbers. If it's uncertain in your mind, feel free to go towards the center in terms of uncertainty.
I have a request that you provide a little bit of preamble to the first part with the percentages.
Yeah.
That in many cases, my response had to do with the perception of the kind of the ambiguity latent in the frame of the question.
Yeah.
So if somebody is listening to that, the whole point is to notice that if there's a surprise, that's actually an invitation to recognizing the implicit ambiguity.
Exactly.
It's very difficult to. Yeah, that's it. You get it. Okay.
That is the inherent nature of the process, and it's good that you have that, so I can just cut it and put it there before.
Yeah.
Civium is designed to foster meaningful, mutually advantageous relationships.
0.78.
Okay, that's actually very useful. The goal of Civium is to upgradient the wellness of those interfacing within it.
0.37.
Oh, that's very interesting. Civium is a... What's that? There's going to be a section where there'll be space for that.
Okay.
Civium is a place.
0.98.
Oh, interesting. The next question was, or statement is, a Civium can be a place.
0.99 repeating.
Okay. I was surprised by that because in one of your videos, you explicitly say it's not necessarily a place.
Well, you didn't say that it is only a place. You just said it is a place.
Okay. That's a good clarification. Thank you. Wow. I love when I come across answers that like I did not expect. It really is helpful in aligning me, understanding where your mind actually is at.
There's a lot of ambiguity in that particular question, so I had to.
Of course.
Choose where
and that's a point because in the modern world, most of our evaluation of information is without context, right? We're constantly in this practice of just saying a snippet, and we don't have good means to practice, to refine our language, to be precise, and then sort of ensure that like the right meaning has been transferred. We make a lot of assumptions that we understand. There can be multiple civiums.
0.66.
Okay. Civiums can interface.
1.
Okay, good. That makes sense with your explanation of there being a membrane for interface. Civiums can merge.
1.
Okay, that's great. Our institutions are straining under the burden of modern technology.
0.99 repeating.
The concept of a civium should be established via a social contract.
0.
Great. China's social credit system is dangerous.
0.5.
Oh, wow, I like that. Have you had a practice of doing this before?
Not as such, no.
Okay, you're doing great. Most people get very confused. Dolphins have names for each other.
0.83.
Okay. And this is finally the last present-focused claim. Non-humans can participate within Civium.
1.
Perfect. Next, I'm going to move into the future for a series of predictions. In 50 years, Civium will be the dominant form of human organization.
0.5.
Love that. In 50 years, something like Civium will be the dominant form of human organization.
0.6. 0.62.
Civium will evolve.
0.65.
Okay. In 80 years, humanity will mostly store value in money and make decisions collectively through markets.
I'm sorry, I forgot how to say highly confident that's not true.
Oh, high confidence that it's not true?
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be 0.
Okay, 0.12.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty aligned on that as well. I really vibe with your section on the second mode of Civium, where you're talking about like hopefully ideally more of our decision-making processes go through these alternate systems and less through like the old token-based systems, which is why I really want to ask you that. Civilization will collapse in our lifetimes, and the majority of people will consider it to have collapsed.
0.68.
Okay. I don't know what to call this because there's really no name, but the sense-making community will converge to form a new system that is significantly more functional than existing systems.
0.5.
Okay.
I don't understand what's referenced by the term sense-making community.
Yeah, it's a hard one. It's something that I'm observing of people emerging, communicating within a certain frame of ideas. It's okay if it's unclear. The language we use to communicate about consciousness will evolve.
0.8.
Okay. Humanity will enter a state of consciousness that most view to be somewhat higher than their previous waking experience, and this elevation will sustain itself over time.
This is this throws an error.
Okay.
I can explain that more if you'd like at some point.
Sure. So are you saying that it doesn't account to just uncertainty, but it's something beyond the spectrum of reaction?
Correct.
Okay, perfect. That's fine too. The majority of humanity will view some non-human species as people within the next 50 years.
0.93.
I like that. All right, so finally we're going to go into claims about the past or understanding of history or your own personal life. So first off, the unknowable one. COVID was originally transmitted by an animal at a wet market.
0.08.
Okay. The last 4 years damaged Americans' trust in institutions.
0.97.
Okay. The last 4 years created an impetus for change.
0.9.
Okay. Your experience with nootropics led to your work in systems change.
0.
Okay. Your original intended meaning of game B has been subverted.
0.53.
Okay. The U.S. government handled vaccination distribution well.
The vaccination distribution?
Mm-hmm.
0.5.
Okay. The conception of Civium significantly altered your life path.
1.
I like that. In the last 10 years, you have gotten better at communicating about complexity.
0.82.
There's hope. This one's abstract again. The movement to a consciousness based on a self in quotations, was intertwined with the development of language.
Would you say that again?
The movement to a consciousness based on a self was intertwined with the development of language.
.85.
I feel that way as well. Okay. You did good work in your 20s.
.86.
Okay. You did good work in your 30s.
.78.
Okay. You have done good work since your 30s.
0.89.
Okay. So that was just the short form thing. The rest out from here, you can just flow as freely as you want.